Scorpions was my first record I ever made with the Scorpions. Lonesome Crow. I was about 15 years old, and from there on, and then we toured with UFO, and they asked me, the UFO asked me if I would join them, and I actually always told the Scorpions if someone from England would approach me that I would leave Germany and go to England, because there was no rock scene in Germany. There was no management allowed. There was disco music, and that was it. And I, wanted to be somewhere where people had interest in the kind of music that I was playing. So.
We've done California. Now we're in California. This is our place at the moment. We're going out to Japan tomorrow. We're going on a nice little air flight on Northwest, which happened a couple of days ago over Christmas with the bomber. And we're looking forward to that. And we shall be landing tomorrow night, Japan time. And we're going to do a very good tour. This has been a long time since actually Mike and I did. No, it hasn't really. Like 6 months ago or something. But this is with a head honcho actually crowd. We got Simon, we got Neil, and we got Mr. Wayne Finley here, and it's going to be a interesting little trip.
Right, my name is Simon Phillips. I play those things in the background. They're called drums, and they're very loud. I'm looking forward to this little trip we're doing because this is kind of a very special thing. I played on the original M.S.G. album back in 1980, and I have seen Michael once in the last 30 years. And I know that when we did the record, I think he wanted me to join the band back then, but I was already busy. I was actually playing with the Jeff Beck group at the time, so it just didn't work out. And I got a call kind of out of the blue from Michael's manager asking me if I would be part of this 30th anniversary. And I thought, wow, that would be really cool to play those songs again, And it's funny, when you make a record, you only get a chance to play a song a couple of times, and that's it. You move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. When you play it in concert, live, you get to play it, every night. This tour is very short. It's only 5 shows, so we get to play it 5 times. Yeah, the history is, or the background with Michael on the M.S.G., or the MS group. Really, I met Michael in a rehearsal room in London called Nomis, which was in fact the start of rehearsals for M.S.G., the first record. I don't remember how much we didn't do much rehearsal. We did about a day, maybe 2 days. And Roger Glover from Deep Purple was producing. And we went into a studio called Wessex Studio, if I remember correctly, with, it's 30 years of memory, by the way, now, with Gary, can't remember his name quite, the engineer, and Roger, and it was Gary Bardens, the singer who's singing today, Michael, myself, and a bass player called Mo Foster. And that was it. We'd only just met, but we got on great, and the songs went down real quick. And Michael was just saying yesterday during rehearsal, he said, yeah, we played it like once or twice, and every time it was different, and we just said, well, the take feels good. And that's it. It's been a very fleeting and transient relationship, actually, until these last 3 days. And all of a sudden, we've been rehearsing all the songs that we played, and I did a record with him just a few years ago, but because of today's technology, and I live here in LA, and he was making the record in Germany, we were kind of just sending files backwards and forwards. So I actually didn't even talk to him.
Hi, I'm Neil Murray. I'm the bass player with M.S.G on this Japanese tour, 2010, and I'm really kind of a guest artist for this one-off special 30th anniversary tour. And I'm very, very happy to be playing with Michael and with Simon and everybody, and really looking forward to it. Well, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I was probably on a parallel course to M.S.G. I was in Whitesnake at the time, and when they'd done the first M.S.G. album, when they went on the road, they used a very good friend of mine, Cozy Powell, on drums, and then after he left M.S.G., joined Whitesnake, and we had a very long relationship in various different bands, but all the time you're kind of aware of Michael and what he's doing. And in fact, I remember in Japan, Whitesnake, we played enormous kind of stadium shows with Bon Jovi and Scorpions, and Michael was on that bill too. So you kind of catch up with people, but I'd never played with him except maybe, I don't know, like in a wine bar or something, acoustically, or just messing around. And as he's explained, out of the blue, suddenly I got asked to do the In the Midst of Beauty album. And it was very nice. I mean, I wasn't part of the original Michael Schenker group recording, so whereas everybody else was. So I'm like the special extra guest in all these circumstances. And you know, it'd be nice to do more, but if the regular bass player, Chris Glenn, who was with Michael way back in the early 80s, he's a fantastic player and a good friend of mine, and, why use me when you can have him?
Wayne Finley, guitar keyboards for M.S.G. The collaboration between Gary Barden and Michael Schenker, to me, is very classic and legendary. For me, the first two albums were classic and legendary, and it's just, I've always been a big fan ever since it first came out, so. One of the recent stories was being left in Moscow and taking a 15-hour train ride from Moscow to Helsinki. That was pretty challenging and adventurous, seeing how I don't speak Russian. So, but I made it, yes. So. I'm excited about the upcoming tour because it's back in Japan, and we always have a blast in Japan. Great food, great people, and great music.
Okay, my name is Roberto Carrero, and I do a little bit of everything, like guitar tech, the keyboard. I do help the singer, the bass, and if I have to help my friend Simon right here, he's on it too. So I do a little bit of everybody, yeah. One of those, well, I remember one time they told us that they were gonna rent equipment, because we usually send the whole full sheet of everything that what we need over there. Yeah. And once we got there, they didn't have nothing at all, and they make us play with whatever the other opening band had. That's a beautiful thing.
How'd that work out?
So imagine you're expecting your 4 cabinets in one side, 2 cabinets on the other side. You see nice keyboards, and they only have one keyboard, and it was probably like 1981 type of keyboard. that you couldn't even achieve the sounds that he has. So it was a little bit kind of like, you know, uncomfortable, but they went through on it, and that's the cool about it. You know, at least people didn't complain because they only hear whatever is on coming out through the speaker. But you know, but it wasn't that bad. You know, you have the equipment, the drums, it falls in pieces, but but it was okay. You know, but we went through. You know, on it.
My second album, which was Phenomenon, my first album with UFO, that led to Force It, to know Heavy Petting, Lights Out, Obsession, and then Strangers in the Night, which was a live album in '79. And so I did a total of 6 albums at that point, from '72 or '74 until '79. And then I kind of briefly went back to the Scorpions, did the Love Tribe album with them, and then decided to go my own way. And I actually, I created M.S.G here for peace of mind. I mean, like for freedom of expression, freedom of doing things when I wanted to do them, how I wanted to do them, develop all the visions that were coming out. You know, I did a lot of different types of albums. Lots of musicians in the band. But basically, it was like no pressure. M.S.G was just for me, for musically, to have total freedom to do whatever I want. And so I started that in 1980, and kind of went through a bunch of musicians from Aerosmith rhythm section to Billy Sheehan with Danny Kamasi. At some point, I almost ended up doing something with Getty Lee and Neil Pearl from Rush. And then eventually we found Simon Phillips from Mo Foster. And then that was basically the beginning of M.S.G in 1980. Did the first album, Michael Schenker Group. And from there on, we actually went on tour with Cozy Powell and Chris Glenn and Paul Raymond. They joined as a live tour, as a live, you know, for the live concerts. And then from there, we went to studio and did the next M.S.G album, titled M.S.G, with Cozy Powell, Paul Raymond, Gary Barden, Chris Glenn, and myself. And at the same time, we went to Japan and did recorded live at the Budokan. The next album was Assault Attack. We changed singers. The management asked if I could do that, and we got Graham Bonnet in and did Assault Attack. And Graham didn't last very long. We had our first live concert, and he lasted 15 minutes on stage, and I don't know what happened, but that was it. And the next 2 days later, we had to do a headline Reading Festival, which was like 30,000 people, and we quickly got Gary back, did 2 days of rehearsal, and then did the concert, and it went really well. So I carried on with Gary. Then we did Build to Destroy in 83, I think, or 82, 83. And that was the end of the Schenker Barden lineup. And at that point, I was looking for a partner, you know, just to experience the 50-50 responsibility kind of thing. And I found Robin McCauley. He just happened to his surname started with an M, so I just gave him the M for, you know, M.S.G. So we kept M.S.G under McCauley Schenker, and we did Perfect Timing, Save Yourself, and another M.S.G, I think it was titled, or was it Macaulay Schenker? In 92, 91 actually, and in between, I'm not sure if I left something out. Maybe from that point on, I started my own company, and I released acoustic instrumental albums, as well as rejoining UFO. Walk on Water was the first album after 17 years. Then another one, Covenant, and another one, what was that called? Covenant, what was it? Walk on Water, Sharks. So we did 3 more albums with UFO. In between I did more M.S.G albums. Then there was lots of best of, release. I think it's a total over like 50 albums. Well, Flying V guitars. I mean, to be honest, it's really, I never really focused on it. It just happened by itself. Just like everything else, really. Like everything I do, I don't really focus on anything. It's a spiritual force, that makes me do things. It's like I just do. I just move forward and just do what I like doing, and I just do it. And I started off with a bunch of other guitars before, and then I came up to the by accident, like I had to take my brother Rudolf played the Flying V before me. I broke a string or something like that. Actually, a couple of times I needed his guitar, and at some point I had the combination between 50-watt Marshall and the Flying V, and that was perfect for me, and so I asked him if I can keep it, and that was it. And if it works, don't fix it. I just kept playing it from that day on, and that's basically the story of the Flying V. But of course, then in 2004, Dean Guitars, they introduced me to their Flying V, and I looked at it, I played it, and it sounded really good. It was very solid. I just, they wanted to work with me. I thought this is a, very solid, really, really good sustain, just excellent sound, and almost unbreakable. I mean, I haven't broken one guitar yet. They're very strong. And so we teamed up together, and since 2004 I play Dean Guitars, and I'm very happy with it. Well, the thing is, like, I just do what I like to do, and then the people who like what I do, they are your fans, and they kind of have the similar interests, they have a similar taste. That's why, kind of you have that fan base. It's a similar taste, and so you have, those are the people I play, to, and I have lots of loyal fans, and it has been many years, and they're all still there. But it's interesting to watch all of this, everybody growing older, but still the same. If you look out there, it doesn't look like they are older. They look the same, It's kind of funny, but great, and worldwide, it has kind of come to the point where, they are basically all on a similar level, like they're. Like sometimes people ask me, which fans are the best and which are the. It has kind of come to the point where they're actually really great everywhere, But of course, like you have in the South, people are more hot-blooded. They're kind of more noisy, but or in Japan, but in general, Europe, England, America, it's they're just still very much up there.